This video is intended as a quick overview of BPA platform functionality. If you wish to follow along with the process, you will need the training database, preferably in the same location as BPA platform, and appropriate drivers installed for your chosen database. We are using Microsoft SQL Server in this example, and also the HTML email template. These assets can be downloaded from the link provided. You will also require a configured email SMTP server. In addition, you will also need connections set up for the OLEDB tool connecting to the training database and the Send Email SMTP tool appropriately configured. For more information on these tool configurations, please see the documentation. OK, in BPA Platform, create a new task and name it Exception Alert Large Order, and click the Design tab. Now we will add a database query OLEDB step. In the Connection drop-down, select your connection to the training database. Moving on to the Query tab, let's expand the panes. Next, we need to drag in the required columns. In the left pane, expand Sales Order, then drag in Order Number, Account Ref, Name, and Order Date. In the SOP Item table, drag in Quantity Order and Description. Then from the Stock table, drag in Quantity in Stock. Let's expand the panes. We will now link to create the relationship between these tables. Ensure order number is linked from the Sales Order table to the SOP Item table. And from the SOP Item table, Stock Code is linked to Stock Code in the Stock table. Next, we will set up a criteria. We want to be notified if any order contains more than 3,000 products. Let's drag the Quantity Order column into the Criteria pane. Then select the criteria is greater than or equal to, and enter the value 3,000 for this example. We now have a basic query that looks at any orders that have a quantity greater than 3,000. If we execute the query, we can see it has returned an order from our example database. We can now close this step. Next, we need the data from the query to be formatted so that the information can be sent as an HTML email in the last step. Let's drag in a Format as HTML tool. In the General tab, click the Use an Input Record Set checkbox. Then in the drop-down, we can see the previous step is selected. Moving on to the Formatting tab, ensure One Document is selected under the Document Generation Options pane. We can now import the HTML template we have prepared for this task. Click the Import button, locate the assets for this task, and select the HTML template. In the pop-up, click OK. The template has now been imported. We will now populate the placeholder text with the appropriate record source for each column by dragging from the browser. Now click OK to close this step. Next, we will add a Send Email SMTP tool. In the General tab, ensure Read Documents from a Source is selected. In the drop-down, we can see Documents from Format as HTML has been selected. In the Connection tab, select your configured email connection. Then go to the Main tab. We now need to specify the from address. For this example, we will use a one-off dynamic address. Once completed, click OK. Next, we need to add the appropriate recipients. Then click OK, add OK again to close. In the subject line, we will enter Exception Alert Large Order. Click OK to close this step. We will now add a schedule step. In the Main tab, you can configure this to your own specifications, but for this example, we will set this to run every day at 9 AM. Click OK to close this step. And finally, we can link all the steps. Let's save and close the task. We will now run the task so we can show you its output. In this demonstration, we will run the task manually by right-clicking and selecting Queue Now. Once the task has completed, we will receive an email like this. And that's it for this BPA Platform Quick Focus video. Call us for further information or visit codelessplatforms.com. Thanks for watching.